What's up, guys? Welcome into another episode of the Michigan Recruiting Report. We're going to be talking about the transfer portal. The transfer portal is still ongoing. There are still some options out there for Michigan. But before we dive into that, I want to remind you guys to like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel for free, get notifications every time we drop new videos. And also, if you're not a subscriber to the Wolverine.com, subscribe today. Use a special promo code UM1. It's $1 for 2 months using the promo code UM1. That gets you exclusive insider information on everything transfer portal, recruiting, the team, basketball, and so much more. Plus, you get to be part of a great message board community with thousands and thousands of users. So use the promo code UM1. That's $1 for 2 months over at thewolverine.com. All right, guys, let's talk about 5 key remaining targets for Michigan in the transfer portal. Everybody knows the Wolverines need help at wide receiver. They missed on 2 wide receiver targets in Skylar Bell and David Pantelis over the weekend. Skylar Bell had some credit issues. Pantelis went to Stanford. So Michigan's kind of scrambling for wide receivers. Let's go ahead and talk about our first prospect, and that is True Edwards. As I reported over at thewolverine.com, True Edwards told me he might take a visit to Michigan. Michigan needs to make that a will take a visit to Michigan. Edwards is a fantastic prospect out of the portal, transferring from Louisiana Tech, has 1 year remaining. I love what I've seen from True Edwards just on the limited film I've been able to pull up. He's a bigger bodied receiver. He's listed at 6'2", 200 pounds, but looks a little taller than that, probably 6'3", 6'3 and a half. Definitely a playmaker on the outside and has the size to create mismatches. But what I really like about Edwards is his big play ability. He's a player that takes short passes and turns them into long gains, touchdowns. I mean, he's tough to bring down in the open field, has really good speed for his size as well. I think he would be a dynamic playmaker in an offense like Michigan that needs a featured wide receiver. True Edwards can be that. He is arguably my favorite receiver that I've come across that Michigan's been recruiting out of the portal. I like True Edwards more than I liked Skylar Bell. I think he's that good. Now, with True Edwards, he already took a visit to Kentucky. He has interest from a ton of other schools, so Michigan's really going to have to work to get him on campus. I think that right now there isn't necessarily a true leader aside from Kentucky, which has already gotten him on campus. So we'll kind of have to see how it shakes out. He told me that he's still mapping things out as he's generated more and more interest, but he's certainly on Michigan's radar, and a visit is possible. And there are some ties in this recruitment as well. Ron Bellamy, Michigan's wide receivers coach, is originally from Louisiana. Edwards is originally from Louisiana as well. Now, Edwards played his high school ball in the Dallas area at Mansfield Legacy. Now, that's important because Mansfield, Texas, actually is home to J.B. Brown, Michigan's assistant special teams coordinator. J.B. spent a lot of his early life in Mansfield. His father, James Brown, who's a staffer at Michigan, actually coached in Mansfield as well. So the Brown family are very familiar with those around Edwards too. So we'll see if anything really shakes with Edwards moving forward. Now, True Edwards isn't the only wide receiver on the board. There are a handful. Like I said, that is a big position of need for Michigan. So another one to keep an eye on is Kaden Robinson out of Appalachian State. He's a really interesting prospect that also has a lot of ties to Michigan. So he originally committed to UCF coming out of the JUCO ranks. And at that time, Chip Lindsey was the offensive coordinator at UCF. So they did cross paths, even though Robinson wasn't at UCF very long, and neither was Lindsey. But Robinson was also part of the same recruiting class, again, as a JUCO. He was part of the same recruiting class as new Michigan quarterback transfer, Mikey Keene. So Keene knows Robinson. I'm sure Keene will be instrumental in helping Michigan recruit Robinson. So again, those ties should help the Wolverines, but they need to get him on campus for a visit. Same thing as True Edwards, right? Right now, Robinson is taking visits to USC and UCLA. They are both hosting him this week. Now, I spoke to his agent, and he told me that Robinson is looking to schedule some more visits, but things have been crazy, which they have been. He has gotten interest from a ton of other schools. But another tie here is Robinson's agent is actually the same agent that helped with Michigan's recruitment of Donovan McCulley, who Michigan landed out of the portal last month. So they've already worked with Robinson's agent. There's familiarity there. So that could help Sean McGee in the deal-making process. All right, let's move on to another wide receiver. Let's talk about Troy Stellato out of Clemson. Now, Stellato's an interesting one. He named Michigan in his top 3 along with Kentucky and West Virginia. But the thing about Stellato is he's had some transcript issues. Now, you saw Michigan miss out on Skylar Bell. Like I said at the top of the video, there was some credit issues. I'm not exactly sure what Stellato's transcript issues are, but if those don't get resolved, then Michigan obviously can't land him. Now, they are a major player. They would get his last visit if those transcript issues are resolved. But as of me recording this video, there's still some work to do there. Now, Stellato would come in and be a slot receiver. He's 6 foot, 175, had some injuries at Clemson, but was productive when he did get an opportunity to play. So we'll see how things kind of, develop there over the next few days. All right, let's move on to the offensive line. Michigan has already landed 2 offensive linemen through the portal, Lawrence Hattar and Brady Norton. But both of those guys, with Hattar, you're getting a pure interior prospect, a guard. With Norton, you're getting a guy who can play right tackle or guard, but is probably a couple years away. He has not a couple years away, probably a year away from being a true full-time starter. He has a couple of years of eligibility remaining. Michigan still needs a tackle. And so tackle options have flown off the board. Shiaz Pete is the lone remaining offensive tackle on the board. The thing about Pete, though, is he announced a Michigan offer not too long ago, but he hasn't set up a visit, and there hasn't been any real movement with him in terms of Michigan. Now, he has visited Kentucky. He is visiting Vanderbilt. There are several other schools involved as well, Nebraska, Stanford, just to name a couple. I think that, for Michigan, again, like with the other prospects we've talked about, it comes down to getting him on campus. I do think that Michigan will give itself more options at the tackle position outside of Pete, but they certainly like him. He's a mountain of a man at 6'8", 287 pounds. So keep an eye on Pete, but he has been very quiet. Now, the last player on our list is the number 1 cornerback in the transfer portal, Thaddeus Dixon out of Washington, just named Michigan in his top 5. Now, the thing about Thaddeus Dixon is he didn't rule out a return to Washington. So Washington is trying to keep him, but he is looking at some other options. Washington just landed Takario Davis, the corner transfer from Arizona. So that might give Dixon a little more reason to leave. Now, according to our On3 transfer portal insider, Pete Nakos, North Carolina is in line to get his first visit. Will Michigan get him on campus? Will they not? We'll have to see there. But things need to progress quickly for the Wolverines. They just lost out on top corner target Rylan Gandy, who picked Indiana yesterday. So again, Thaddeus Dixon, he's really, really highly ranked, super talented, 6 foot, 205 pounds. So kind of a bigger corner, would be a guy that could come in and take over in that vacancy left behind by Will Johnson. So Michigan's going to push really hard here, but we'll have to see, if they can get him on campus at some point here in the next week. All right, guys. So that does it for today. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel for free. Like I said earlier, if you haven't subscribed to the Wolverine.com, use that special promo code for our YouTube viewers, $1, 2 months. Again, the promo code is UM1. Get exclusive transfer portal and recruiting information over at the Wolverine.com. Like I said, guys, like the video, subscribe. We'll see y'all next week.